Hey, there you are. So, do you want to grab some popcorn first, or are you ready?
I know, right? I know. No, I'm good. I'm ready.
All right, great. So, first of all, I laughed at the beginning. When your character was introduced to Peter, because Peter was like, "Who is this kid? Does he
Right.
have any life experience?" And it's so funny because in real life, I mean, of course, older people, you can learn a lot from older people because they have more life experience, more work experience, of course. But very often you can learn from youngsters as well. So I was wondering, because since you all have a very famous father, I was wondering, and I'm sure you learned a lot from him about acting and stuff. But what do you believe is it that he actually learned from you about acting or art in general?
Honestly, everything. I'm just kidding. He was so thankful. I'm just kidding. No,
Of course he was.
that's an interesting question. I mean, I wish he was the one that would answer because he would probably be able to do better. But I don't know. Maybe just like the the way that I do things. Like I don't know. I mean, maybe coming from Mexico and like doing like a different kind of like acting, but honestly, probably nothing. Like I don't know. He's such a great like school already for like everything he's done. He was so
Yeah,
good at like a lot of like things. I actually did learn from him a lot, like just from the way he acted. He's so professional. He's so relaxed on set, of course, because he's been doing this for so long. And even
yeah.
though I have to, I think that acting in Spanish, it is very different from like doing it in English. So it was very nice to work with him, and like he's also a very fun guy. Like out of like
Yeah.
set and the scene, we were constantly just like picking on each other, like joking around. He has a very dark sense of humor, which I do too. So we got
Oh,
along
great.
very well. That made it like way better because then you're working with a friend, more than just like this
Right.
random guy.
Absolutely. And so the first stop of your characters is a place where they have to figure out which person is possessed.
Mm-hmm.
And Guy's character knows right away who it is, and your character doesn't know it. And it's so fascinating because your character goes like, "Why did you know?" And it seems to be so funny because in real life, you meet people, and you go like, "Wow, that's such a nice, great guy," and then maybe your friend tells you, "What? Are you kidding? This is such a fake person. Can't you see that?" You know. And for whatever reason, some people are able to see the real character of a person, and some people aren't. And I was wondering
Right.
because you are uh, a well-known actor. Whenever you are surrounded by people, I can imagine. A lot of people are around you because they really care about you. But I can imagine
Right.
that some people are around you because of their own good, because they want to, I don't know, want to have their own piece of fame or whatever. So I was wondering, as an
100%.
actor, how do you make sure you recognize those people that are around you for the wrong reason?
Most times it's super obvious. Most times
All
people
right.
don't know how to like play
Really?
it cool because you see their excitement and how like they are so excited for your career, your family, your like achievements, and like they're always talking about that when around you. So you already know that like that's what they have in their minds. But smarter people that still want the same thing, that's a little more tricky. But I think you have to also learn how to play the game a little bit in the sense that you have to know who you surround yourself with. Like that's why I think the more famous someone gets, like in this industry, the lonelier they are because they know that more people want them for those things. So
Yeah.
they kind of just have very like small group of people that are close to them,
Mhm.
because they know that that's like who they trust, and then they
Right.
don't let anyone else in. They might be nice to them and like be like acquaintances or like someone they know and they're like good hanging out with, but they wouldn't really like be very close to them for the same reasons. But it's just like it's difficult to sometimes like see that, but I think that with time you start getting more experience at like seeing those things. And well, in the movie, what Guy did definitely like we know why he knew later on, but like
Yes.
But yeah, my character, I love that scene. Like, it's so funny. And actually, because of editing, they had to cut it down a little, but it was so much like it was way funnier. Like, if you see the actual like longer
Oh, it was
cut.
much longer than what we see.
Yes. And just for
Oh,
time purposes, it had to be cut down a little bit, but it was very funny, their interaction that I had with the guy in the trash can. Like, it was just like very, very funny. But oh well.
well, hopefully there will be a deleted scene or something that will show
Imagine some
the
bonus
entire thing.
features. That could be cool. That could be
Yeah.
cool.
So you just mentioned, about learning, and it's interesting because Peter tells Daniel there are certain things that you cannot learn from books and you cannot learn from schools and stuff like that. You have to experience certain stuff in order to get it and to know how it really is. So I was wondering, do you remember, something precious that you learned about acting that no film school in the world would have been able to teach you?
Um, well, nobody tells you that the job of an actor is mainly waiting. You do a lot of waiting around. It's like 15 to 20% acting, and the rest is literally you sitting around.
All right.
But also, something else that nobody teaches you is how much patience you have to have in this world. How many times you will be rejected before you get something. Like, it's such a hard place to be, when it's like a roller coaster where sometimes you're doing really well and then sometimes nobody really is paying attention or hiring you, and you have to keep working on it and like be patient and until something else comes. What else? I think something big that I might have learned was yeah, just like, I guess something that you definitely have to like work on, and I think this applies to a lot of people, is to build like a thicker, like, I don't know if this translates, but like thicker skin
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to people, because there's always going to be people that will have like a lot of envy. The more successful you are, the more hate you're going to get, and this applies to like, for every job, I think. So you've got to like learn how to build that like thick skin, so nothing will really get to you and affect you, and know exactly who those comments or like energy is coming from, so you don't let it affect you in your craft and what you do.
And since you just mentioned rejection, I mean, I've seen another interview where you said that you love to dream big and that there's no limits when it comes down
Yeah.
to that. And of course, there are some people that they have like one goal, and when they reach that one, they go like, "What now?" When they don't have like a next goal. So it's, in my opinion, of course, it's far better to have like big dreams. Of course, when you have big dreams, it's almost impossible to avoid disappointment, of course. But I was wondering how whenever you how do you make sure you don't give up on your dreams whenever you hear a no when you actually wanted to hear a yes?
Drugs, just drugs, really.
Right. What else, right?
Crack, it just makes me feel better every time.
There's just one way to go.
Yeah, exactly. Hollywood. No, I'm kidding. No, honestly, how do I? Oof, it's very difficult. It really helps that I've been doing this since I was 6 years old, so I kind of know how I've had my ups and downs, and I've slowly proved myself. Like, something I really always talk about is how, even if I'm afraid to do something, I still try to gather that strength and do it, knowing that I already might fail. And then when I don't, I keep proving myself that it wasn't that scary to do so, that it's worth it when you take risks. It's worth it when you like think that you're going for something bigger than what you can do, and then you accomplish it, because then you prove to yourself that you might be better than and that you think you are. So slowly, even if there's a couple of no's that you get, you just kind of learn how to let that go and be like, it's okay. There's something else that's going to be for me. And I've had it happen also. And this is just literally experience that you will see over time, where I do not get a project that I really wanted and that I thought it was going to be amazing for my career.
Mm-hmm.
And that was going to be shooting in like a certain amount of dates, like certain dates, sorry. And and then for some reason, another one comes along that's even better, that is shooting in those exact dates. And that really tells you, like, thanks to the fact that I didn't get this one, I was able to do this one that is actually better for me. So life also has a way to kind of like put everything together in the correct way. So I also learned to trust that a little bit. And something good that I've been doing is not to only put all your eggs in one basket. I don't only do acting, so I'm also doing music. So the times where acting is not necessarily constantly being like keeping me busy, I love it because I also use that time for something else that I love, you know, and that
Right.
it will be like helpful for my career in the musical world. So I songwrite, I release another single, I keep like doing those things. So I'm never really stopping and feeling like my life is just, you know, over because I don't have a project.
Right, 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 right. And speaking of things that you want to do, I mean, your character, of course, he wants to be a professional exorcist.
Mm-hmm. I
And
mean, who does
one of the
that?
and one of the next stops they have is, you know, when they when Peter drives him to that house, and then Peter goes like,
Mm-hmm.
now you go inside that house, and of course the character is a little bit scared because he doesn't know what awaits him inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so and sometimes of course the unknown can be scary. But so I was wondering, is because we are all dealing with the unknown, you know, at one point in our lives, of course, because we never know in what direction everything goes. But is the unknown something that attracts you, you know, that motivates you even more, or is the unknown something that is scary to you, or maybe a combination of both?
Right. To me, it's quite attractive and exciting. I think I mean, there is for sure something scary about not knowing where you're going and what's going to happen.
Mhm.
But I think that if you stay too long in the known, you stay comfortable. You just don't get out of your comfort zone and you never grow. So I think that even if for some people it might be scary, it's definitely better to try it because you will always, when you get out of your comfort zone, you'll always find something good about yourself that you didn't know before, and that will make you be wiser, stronger, better at whatever you do. And I think this applies in everything, like relationships, work, sports, whatever you do, you
Yeah.
always have to try to push yourself through that like limit that you have. So for sure it might be scary, but it's definitely worth going into it.
Absolutely. And speaking of getting out of your comfort zone, your character, of course, leaves the car and enters the house. We will not say what he experiences in
Yeah, yeah.
the house, but there was one line in there that was actually funny. You know, it's when we see Charlie and his parents on the table, and his father says something like, "Well, you know, a boy of your age should do some sports. I will register you tomorrow." You know, and it's so funny because very often when we are teenagers, we get to hear, you have to do this and this and this because it's best for you, it's best for you, it's best for you. And of course, you know, if you listen too much to this other voices, maybe you end up, you know, going a direction you don't want to go because it's actually the others that told you where to go. So when
Right.
you were a kid and a teenager, how did you make sure that you truly follow your own instincts, and that you make that you may how did you make sure that, you know, you go your own path, and that you made sure that you do what you think is best for you?
Right. So my parents as a kid, I mean, they were very, very nice when it came to like asking me stuff. But I think that when you're a kid, you kind of just follow things that are around you. Like you don't really have that much of a say. So I have always said that I started acting very young, but it was more of like this inertia because of what surrounded me and because it was fun. I liked it, so I just kind of did it. But I wasn't too um conscious, I guess, maybe of like what I was doing. And then I stopped for 4 years. I didn't do anything that had to do with acting when I did my high school when I was 16. Um, so I took a huge break. And I think that after that, when I was 19, I was able to come back and be like, okay, so what do I really want to do? Like me now with like, you know, a different mindset where I can actually take the path that I want to take. And I still decided like now very consciously that that is exactly what I wanted to do, and that that is something that I was really passionate about. So I think it just takes time and experience. But I do think that as kids, it's good sometimes that parents or we listen to, it's good that we listen to other voices to try new things that we might not try on our own. But I do think that we should always be very conscious to never stop listening to our own voices, like no matter what. So like if you know in your heart that you want something, doesn't matter what everyone else wants, like you have to also go for that.
Right, absolutely, totally agree. Yes. There is one interesting moment in the movie, you know, where
Only one? As in, just
well,
kidding.
no, of course,
Okay,
lots, every moment. You
My
can
girl,
enjoy the
man.
movie even without drugs. No, just kidding. Um, uh, no, but it's actually when they go and visit Charlie, and then your character is like surprised that Guy's character doesn't go with him, and Guy's character is like, no, no, you started it, you finish it. So,
Right.
and you know, I imagined, you know, Hollywood, because very often, you know, when you're a creative person, you know, I imagine, you know, like screenwriters, you know, they start like 100 scripts, but they only finish one, you know, for example. So, and
Right.
I mean, since you're an actor and a musician and a content creator, how do you make sure you focus on something? How do you make sure, you know, you finish something before you know, open another chapter?
It's difficult. I mean, if you're a hired actor, it's easy because you literally go and you know the
Mhm.
production and everyone else will make sure that you are working and you finish the project, and like that's easier. But if you're working on something that you're creating yourself, I think it's tough. I think anyone who is a creative that is crafting something from start to finish will always have a lot of little projects that are not going to finish. And I think that's okay. I don't think you have to finish everything you do. I think
Yeah.
everything will teach you and will be experienced to finish that one thing, you know? So
So it's not
I don't
wasted.
think, yeah, I think it's okay if people don't necessarily finish a lot of things. If you're not finishing anything at all, then yeah, you should be worried. But if you know, if
Yes,
you have a
definitely.
couple, yeah, if you have a couple of like loose things, but then you are working on one that you're really passionate about, and that one you finish, it's like it's super normal. But like, yeah, I think that's what I think. I don't know.
If you don't finish stuff, then maybe you do need drugs, right?
Maybe maybe you need a different kind of yeah.
Vadhir, my last question to you would be, because another interesting line towards the end from your character, and it goes like, I won't wait until someone does the right thing. And so, because we are now, you know, in 2021, of course, with social media and stuff, everyone can get very vocal on social media. So everyone can express what that person doesn't like about anything. So I was wondering, how important has it been for you so far, you know, to don't wait that someone else does the right thing? How important has it been for you to do the right thing whenever you felt whenever something happened you don't like?
Right. So yeah, I think in now 2021 and 2020, like we have seen that social media has given so many people voices for them to because I think before we could only do so much change, and for sure change starts in like every individual, right? But like now the fact that people can express it and maybe inspire more people has led to so many individual voices who have grown to touch the lives of like many more and maybe do what's right for them, you know. But it's very exciting and very interesting. I like to use whatever I have in social media to inspire people to create, to follow their dreams, to trust in themselves, to take risks, like we were talking about, to
Yeah.
get out of their comfort zones. Like I really do. Think that that is like a lot of my message, to just have fun and not take life too seriously, but like you know really try to help other people around you. So that is little grains of like positivity that before maybe you wouldn't reach as many people as possible. And what Daniel is basically doing is like yeah, instead of leaving it to the church and which and governments and like everyone else that does have the power to do like a lot of like change, but instead of just waiting for them to do it,
Mm-hmm.
he takes it upon himself to be like, I'm not gonna wait anymore. I'm gonna start like going
Right.
into the world and like doing change on my own. And that's something that I think everyone can relate to, and like that would be very important for everyone to do, you know, to understand that we can all as individuals create such a huge change if we stop waiting for someone else to do it and do it ourselves.
Absolutely, yes. Oh, Vadhir, thanks so much for the chat. Seriously, yes. Hey, now we
Yeah,
discussed some drug. Yay.
I know, right?
No, seriously, thanks so much for your time, and of course, all the best for your movie and for your art in general, music, everything you have up. So,
Thank you so much, man.
and have a lovely day.
The same, you too. Have
Thanks
fun.
very
Nice
much.
meeting you. Thank you.
Hey, see you. Bye.
Bye. All right.
Hey,
See you, my man.
see you.
Nice talking to you. That was great.
Nice
A
talking
great
to you.
interview.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you, Vadhir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.